Okay, so hopefully this is showing up. All right, there's the video. Okay, so I'm actually live streaming right now. So if you are watching this and you join this, thank you very much. Now, this is something that I'm just experimenting with right now because I normally do not do live streams very often. But in this case, I wanted to try this out. So if you are not on my community tab, or most importantly, you have notifications on, then what I'll do is I'll announce when I'm doing these live streams because right now I'm just experimenting and I'm not even sure if I'm going to be doing this on a regular basis. And before I did do live streaming on a regular basis. And so what I'm going to do in this video today is, for anybody who, wants to ask questions, I'm going to wait until, people get on the chat. If people come in here and get on a chat, you could ask your questions about video editing, YouTube, or miscellaneous questions that you have, but most of it's going to be focused on that. And then I'm also going to be going to the comment section and kind of looking to see the type of questions that people had. And then I'll go over those. I'll answer the ones that I can. And let me see if this works right now. So this is with my camera, and then whenever I go to my desktop, I'll do something like this, or maybe not with that one, but I'm going to change this up. It's not supposed to go to this, but it's going to go to the desktop with my YouTube channel. So I'm going to go ahead and change that right now. Okay, so I might have to change that a little bit later. Yeah, so that's the wrong desktop. Yep, that's the wrong desktop. So I'm still trying to figure this out because I do have a different YouTube live stream setup currently. And so before I basically just, had my webcam and then I just turned it on, which probably can be the main ways in which I do live streaming. But in this case, I thought this setup might work better because I do have my camera over here, my Panasonic G85, so it's going to give me the best video quality. I have a monitor in the back, so I could use this to display other things, and then I have my main monitor here to do all the work. And so I might definitely have to change this around in the long run. So I'm gonna wait a few more minutes to see if anybody comes on board, and if nobody does, then I'm kind of go over some of the comments section to see if there's questions that I see that I can't answer, or maybe there's questions that I see that come up all the time. So I'm gonna set this up right here. And if you're not familiar with how to do a multi-camera setup, just as an aside, you could actually go to my OBS playlist and you could kind of see how to set that up. And so this is something that I learned how to do recently. And I really feel that it is very valuable for you to learn how to do a multi-camera setup, just in case you wanted to, because it's really cool for me to, go from one camera to another. Like I could go to my webcam right now. This is my Logitech 1080p webcam. And also I could go to my main camera here. Or as you saw a little bit earlier, I could go to my desktop, but that isn't the right window, but you kind of get the point. And so that's what I have there. So I might change one more thing here. Let me see if I could go there. Let me change this real. So I'm going to change things really quick because this isn't exactly the right desktop that I want. So you might see some weirdness. So I'm going to go here. Let me see if I could change this. So let me see. Let me see if this works. Nope, that didn't work. So yeah, it's not the right one. Okay, there it is. Okay, that's the right one. So this actually has my desktop, which is what I wanted. So say for example, I wanted to go here and have my chat window up. So this way, see this right here. So this way, you could actually see the comments here. So let me change this a little bit. All right. So I'm going to scroll through some of these comments right now. And so the first thing I want to say is thank you very much for joining this video if you are. And I highly recommend that you happen to catch this, join the chat if you are here. Chat if you're here. Okay. And you know, if you're not and you're just watching, then well, you kind of see like some of the stuff that I'm actually looking at. And so the whole chat community comments area is probably the most valuable area, I think, for a lot of YouTube creators, because this gives you a lot of great information, you know, not only the feedback from your community, but most importantly, the type of questions that they had. And so I'm going to look through these real quick. So I'm going to go back to my camera. And if you are somebody who's an expert at live streaming, then, you know, with OBS, then, you know, you could set up shortcuts to go from one thing to another. But I found like sometimes if I have these shortcuts, I press the wrong one and it completely messes everything up. So let me see if I can find some comments here that I can answer. So a lot of my video editing questions, I'm going to start off with that because I think that's like probably the largest amount of questions that I get is for video editing. And it normally involves Shotcut. So it normally involves Shotcut. Second to that is OpenShot. And then third one is kind of like becoming the second is Davinci Resolve. And then finally, I get some Kdenlive questions every now and then. So if you're not familiar with what that is, it's an open source video editor. So let me see if I could find any good questions here. And this is something I didn't plan at all, you know. So a lot of these live streams I really don't plan. I just go ahead and record the videos. So one questions I had for one of the viewers is, and this is a question about OpenShot. They're saying, dragging a picture-in-picture frame is extremely laggy on my PC. I would expect an i9 processor with 32 gigs of RAM to be enough for such a simple task, or do I need some super duper graphics card? And so this is related to the OpenShot open source video editor. And what I will say with this is, at least right now and for a while now, OpenShot isn't necessarily the best optimized video editor. And so even when you're doing something like picture-in-picture, or if you're doing, you know, multiple layers, you know, in your project timeline, or even if you're adding effects, it just doesn't do really well with that. And especially if you're going to be doing 4K and really complex projects, it really doesn't do well. And so that's what I would say with OpenShot. Even if you have really great hardware, it's still gonna suffer, and it's gonna have lag. And unfortunately, at the time of this video, I don't think OpenShot has any type of proxy features. And so if you are familiar with video editors, then you're probably definitely familiar with proxy. You know, so proxies allow you to take a full quality version and it makes smaller versions of it. So within your project timeline, it'll be a lot easier for your computer to handle. So let me see if I could find some other things here. Okay. So that's the first thing. You know, I highly recommend that if you are going to be doing more effects, more complex projects, if you do want to stick with an open source video editor, then you're probably better off using Kdenlive or Shotcut. They're better optimized. And Kdenlive is the one that I primarily use right now. I still use Shotcut as well, but you know, when it comes to video editing on my Linux computer, or if I need to do quick video editors, I normally go to Kdenlive. And if I need to do anything further outside of Kdenlive and Shotcut, Davinci Resolve is my favorite video editor. I really love Davinci Resolve, but if I just need to do something quick and easy, then Kdenlive is usually where I go, and if not, I'll use Shotcut. So hopefully that helps, because I have gotten questions about performance issues with OpenShot for many years now, and so that's the first thing. It's really currently and for a while now not the best optimized. Let me see if I can find something else here. Okay, so what I'm trying to find here is some projects, some Kdenlive video editing projects, so you can kind of have an idea of how my edits look like, or how my projects look like. Okay, and at least for me, most of my projects are very simple. Okay, I don't really do complex projects, so let me turn some of these off. And there's a reason why I don't. And I'll explain this once I move these things around. Okay. Let me see if that's okay. So let me see. Go here. Right, let me go through some more questions to see if I could find anything that I can answer. Right. So let me see. Please restore. Okay. So I might jump around on some of these because the people have a variety of questions. And so one of the biggest questions that I get is how to restore deleted YouTube videos. Now, I did make a video on this years ago, okay? And it's still valid today, surprisingly. And so if you ever delete a YouTube video, YouTube will tell you that, you can't recover this video, okay? Before they didn't have that message. But as of right now, and for many years now, if you do delete a video, whether it's accidentally or maybe somebody intentionally deleted your video, the only way currently that you can recover your videos is through YouTube support. They're the only resource that you could go to recover your videos if they can recover it. Okay, so like for example, if you don't recover a video within like 48 hours, normally it's gone. So if you deleted a video and it's been 48 hours, chances are you're probably never going to get it back. So if you do happen to see a video has been deleted, I would definitely get with YouTube support as quick as you can. So hopefully you do have access to that. And I can't remember if a brand new channel, if they do have access to YouTube support. If I remember correctly, you have to have a certain amount of subscribers or view time, or maybe you have to be a partner. They might have changed since then. But yeah, if you do happen to have a video that's been deleted, the only way to get it recovered is through YouTube support. And I highly recommend that you do it as soon as possible. Okay, so that's another question. So I'm just going to go through these. Some of these, most of them will be video editing, but there might just be random YouTube questions on here. Let me see if there's anything here. And right now, I'm not sure whether or not I'm going to be posting this live video public, because if there's not a lot of people here, then it's just going to be mostly me rambling. And so that's why I really don't do live streams too much. Or maybe I should schedule them. I used to do, for anybody who's been on my channel for a while, I used to do weekly live streams on Saturday. So there was a schedule, but not many people joined. Things might have changed. That's why I'm trying it again. Okay, so let me see. And okay, so this is kind of like miscellaneous. I get a lot of questions about this phone, my Walmart phone. So originally when I bought this was called the Moto E7. It's now called the Moto E, and I get a lot of questions on this. I don't know why. I guess it's a pretty popular phone. So one of the biggest questions that I get about this phone is its gaming capabilities. Okay, so I'll say this really simply: if you want the best gaming performance, this phone is not the best at all. It's actually pretty poor for it, and I wouldn't expect anything more from a really ultra low budget phone. But if you're doing things like really simple games like puzzle games, stuff like that, online games, that like trivia or something like that, it should be able to handle it. Okay, but if you want like Call of Duty Mobile, or if you're playing an MMO on this, I don't really play those, but you kind of get the idea. This is not going to do well. I have tried stuff like PUBG, Need for Speed, some higher end games, Asphalt, and even though they can run it, you're not going to get great frame rates, and a lot of times the performance just stutters. Okay, so if you're doing like really simple games, it'll do fine. And then if you do emulation, this could even do Dreamcast games, so it'll do pretty good for most emulation. But I'd say if you want the best gaming performance, do not get this phone. This phone is primarily good for just everyday use and watching YouTube and Netflix. That's really what it's good for. So I get this question a lot. Okay, and I get a lot of people ask, is this the Moto E7 Power? Well, before the Moto E7 Power came, this was officially the Moto E7. Now Motorola has rebranded this as the Moto E. So that's really surprising that I get so many questions for this phone. Must be a lot more popular than I thought. Let me see what other questions that we had. Okay, so I'm going through these comments. Okay. And if you are watching this, if you had any questions or thoughts, let me know. So my internet is pretty good, so it should be okay, but it depends on where you're at, where you're watching this from. Okay, here's another question about deleting YouTube videos. Okay. Okay. So let me see. And another question that I do get sometimes is with audio. Okay, so whenever you are recording videos, if you are recording stereo videos, then typically it'll be on a separate track. But not all video editors will show them as separate tracks. For example, if you're using something like Kdenlive or OpenShot, sorry, if you're using Shotcut or OpenShot, let me correct myself. It does not automatically separate the stereo tracks, okay, which is unfortunate. Hopefully, Shotcut in a future update they'll do that, okay. But something like Kdenlive, it does separate my tracks if it is audio, which is really nice, and which is what I see in most other video editors outside of that. Okay, so. And another video or another question that I get quite often is about editing YouTube videos without losing views. Now, I did do a video on that. It's got quite a few views, but a lot of people want to do true editing, splicing the video, adding music, adding videos, really editing like they would in a normal video editor. And you simply cannot do that with the YouTube video editor. But the only thing you can do is trim and slice. And I will do an update video on that here pretty soon. But one of the things that people ask is if you could do anything else to it. And my answer is no. You could basically just cut and splice. Okay, so, oh, great. I have one person finally, Devang Shekhawat. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it as well. Hi, Devang. Thank you for joining. So, great. So we have our first person on here. So if you are watching this, you just happen to know that I'm doing a live stream and you wanted to ask a question, come on the chat. Okay, so Devang, if you had any questions on video editing, YouTube, or maybe miscellaneous stuff, most of it's going to be focused on those two. But if you had a question, let me know and I'll try to answer it. That's kind of what I'm doing this video for, or I'm trying it out right now. So, okay, so Devang, I'm just going to say your first name, Devang. Hopefully I'm saying that right. So he's asking, what do you think about Blender as a video editor? I don't really feel Blender is the place to go for video editing. Now, if you didn't know what Blender is, it's primarily a 3D graphics, 3D modeling program. You can do a lot of amazing things. I am not a Blender expert by any means, okay? But Blender does have some video edit features, although they're very basic, okay? So just to answer your question, Devang, yeah, I wouldn't use it as a video editor. I would highly recommend that you use other options, like Kdenlive, Shotcut, or if you're using, non-open source video editor, my favorite is Davinci Resolve. Hands down, I love Davinci Resolve, but I've used other video editors like Cyberlink Power Director as well. So yeah, so if you're gonna do light editing, it's okay. But I think for everybody else, Blender, it's a graphics program. That's really, really what it's made for. And thanks, Devang, for being the first one. And so if you had any more questions, okay, I have another person here, Anthony Clive. Thank you so much for joining. What do you think of Shotcut? Well, Anthony, I actually did do a video comparison of these open source video editors before. You can look through, you can do a search in my channel or go to my Shotcut playlist, but I really think Shotcut is a great video editor. And I would think, in my opinion, okay, and my thoughts change over time. So let me kind of give you a background if you're not if you're not familiar with the video editors that I've used before. And so when I first started, I started using Windows Movie Maker. I hope maybe I got that name right. And then the first real video editor I used outside of Windows Movie Maker, which I really, really did like, was OpenShot. Okay, so after OpenShot, I moved over to Kdenlive, and then I moved over to Shotcut. Now, I did use Shotcut before, and I also used another program called Cinelera, if I remember correctly. And at that time, this was years ago. So this was around the same time I was learning how to use Kdenlive initially. Shotcut was just not a great program back then. But now I think it is an excellent, a great video editor. And I would say for most people, and this, like my, my preferences might be different. It depends on what you use it for. I think for most people, if you want a combination of, a video editor that has a lot of features and it's also fairly easy to use, I think Shotcut will probably be the best combination for most people. Okay, because you could go one side where OpenShot, it's very simple. I think for people who really don't know anything about video editing, that's probably the easiest one to get into. But then again, if you want something with more features, there's Kdenlive. But if you want something that has both, I think Shotcut, it's excellent, And at the same time, Shotcut, it's free. So, Kdenlive is free. OpenShot is free. And so it's really, like no reason for, people not to use it, like in terms of like, hey, which one should I use? Use all of them because they're free. I mean, it really doesn't matter. Hopefully that answers your question, Anthony. But in general, I really, really do enjoy using Shotcut, But Kdenlive is the one that I use the most out of the out of the open source video editors. And then Shotcut is second. And OpenShot, I really don't use it that much anymore, And then my favorite video editor is Davinci Resolve. I mean, that, as I get better with it, I'll probably be, I already do tutorials, but I really, really want to get better at video editing. And I have a lot of video editing tutorials, but I'm going to show you here in a bit the type of video editing that I do and why I do this type of video editing, okay? So Devang is asking, do you think if I would be missing out on a lot of features if I use Shotcut over Resolve? Don't know if my fast approach would make me miss out on important stuff. Haha. So what Devang is referring to is fast. If you're not familiar with what that is, it's free and open source software. Okay. And so I use Linux. And so if you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. Let's just say I love Linux. GNU Linux is the right way to say it. So your operating system. So anyway, if you really like fast software, meaning they're free open source software, then you're probably not going to be, or you're going to try to stay away from proprietary software. Proprietary software is software like Microsoft Windows, Apple Mac. If you're using software, it could be Adobe, Davinci Resolve. So basically the program or source code is not available out in the open. Okay, so just for anybody who's wondering what that means, that's what Devang is referring to. So what he's asking is, would he be missing out on a lot of features if I use Shotcut over Resolve? And my answer to that is, it depends. Because with all this software, it depends on what you use it for. Okay, and so if you're the type of person who finds that, Apple Final Cut Pro, DaVinci Resolve, Adobe Premiere works better for you, then use that, all right? But if you're the type of person who loves fast software like Shotcut, Kdenlive, OpenShot, and they work well for you, then you're not missing out, because the program that you're using is working for you. So that's just my answer to that, Devang, Hopefully that answers your question, But DaVinci Resolve is free. There is a free version, which is what I use. And hands down, it's still the best video editor, free or paid, in my opinion. So, if you have a Windows computer or a Mac computer, you want to try it out, I'd say try out DaVinci Resolve to see if there's anything that you feel is missing, okay? So, but at the end of the day, you use the software that works best for you. That's my opinion. Whether it's fast or proprietary, that's the way I see things. I use the best software that works for me. Even though I love open source software, I also love proprietary, meaning that I just use whatever software works best for me. Okay, so I don't really choose only one or the other, but whatever works for you, use it, and try it out, try it out if you can, or if you want to. So Anthony's asking, I use Shotcut a lot and it was very useful. However, my PC got blue screen and Shotcut struggles with frame rate on my laptop. Other than that, it's great editor. Yeah, Anthony, and Devang and Anthony, you might definitely know this because you're using it, right? And the thing that I've seen, and this is just my personal experience, okay? whenever it comes to video editing, okay, if you need to do more complex projects, you know, lots of effects, lots of layers, things like that, and this is just my personal opinion, right? Open source video editors are typically not the best ones for it. Okay, and I've seen this myself. I don't have the most powerful computer in the world, but Davinci Resolve, these more powerful video editing programs, they are made for this. And obviously, the better hardware that you have, the better, obviously, okay? But I will say, if you're doing complex projects, then right now, or has been for a long time, at least for me, the open source video editors just don't work really well, especially if you're going to be doing 4K content and stuff like that. So that's just my personal opinion and my own experience, okay? So we have some more people on here. Insane Tutorials, thank you for joining. Super Tour, thank you so much for joining. Love your videos, your content's awesome. Thank you, and love video editing, me too, I just want to briefly say that, like I said earlier, and I've said this in previous videos, I rarely do YouTube live videos. But I just want to thank everybody who actually came on this video. It's not very often. And so, Super Tour, Insane Tutorials. If you had any questions, let me know. Anthony Devang, please keep the questions coming, because if this helps other people, then that's the whole point of me doing these videos, And, if I get enough people who come here and ask questions, I won't do this very often, but if it's helpful, I'll probably do it more often than I would. And normally I do a live stream like once or twice a year, okay? And so I'm trying something out. And so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna show you like normally how my video editing works, okay? And it might not be too surprising if you've been on my channel for a long time. So Devang is saying, I love FOSS, but I have to make a video for science video making competition, and I need to make some animations for it, and I heard that there's built-in animation support in Resolve. Absolutely, Devang. There's a lot in Davinci Resolve. Just understand that this is a professional tool. It's mainly known for color grading. This is what they use in Hollywood movies and a lot of movie studios around the world. Davinci Resolve is the best for color grading. But Davinci Resolve over the years have added a lot of amazing video editing features. But I will say it is complex. I do have an entire tutorials for Davinci Resolve, but it is very, very complex. I will say that. But once you learn it, it's awesome. I mean, and I've tried getting Davinci Resolve to work on Linux Mint, and I know some people have got it to work, but honestly, for me, it's a pain. And so I actually have my computer set up as a dual boot. I hate Windows, but I have to do it. So I have it in a dual boot, and normally I have Windows in a virtual machine, which I still do. But if I want to use something like Davinci Resolve, I had to have it on its own separate drive. You could partition it as well, but that's where I have Davinci Resolve. Super Tour, yeah, Shotcut is awesome. Yeah, Devang's asking, glad it happens twice a year. Yeah. So Anthony's asking, I'm new to editing, but it's fun. Been experimenting with Adobe, and it surprisingly handles well on my laptop. Yeah, that's really surprising, Anthony. I mean, Adobe Premiere, it's a great tool. Do not get me wrong. But I just have not had the best experience, especially when it comes to stability. Hopefully Adobe is trying to continually fix that. But at least for me, Davinci Resolve is the one that I use the most. And I might go back to Adobe Premiere in the future. I'm not sure. So Insane Tutorials asks, I have a question. What is your favorite editing software, if that be free or for money? Hands down, Insane Tutorials. I did do a video on this, but I'm going to tell you right now. Davinci Resolve, hands down, period. Because they do have a free version, which is what I use. And that free version gives you there's so many things. I mean, practically, I think for 99% of people out there, if you want a professional tool that does everything, Davinci Resolve will have it. And then you can get the paid version if you want additional stuff, but they give you so many features. Yeah, Davinci Resolve. So if you have Microsoft Windows, Apple Mac, or even if you want to take the time to try to make it on your Linux machine, it's really made for CentOS, which is a Red Hat distribution. That's what really Davinci Resolve is made for in the whole Linux world. So if you actually get it to work on other, Linux distributions, then that's great. But you will be missing out on some things like the free version on Linux. As far as I recall, you can't do MP4 you actually have to transcode it. So that's a really pain. It's a pain, okay? And the support, it's really going to be better for Microsoft Windows and Apple Mac. And then if you are in CentOS, Red Hat Linux, which is what it's, it's really made for, then you're going to get support there. And the reason why it's only available on currently for CentOS is because this is for professional production studios. So they have these large Linux servers, these server farms, and they have distributed working systems, okay? So this is not made for like normal people, okay? So Linux, Davinci Resolve in Linux is really made for that. It's made for professional use in studios. And since there's a very small user base for Linux desktop software, meaning that software that people pay for, okay, Davinci Resolve or Blackmagic doesn't really want to invest a lot of the money that it would take to make it work on all distributions, or at least popular distributions like Ubuntu, Linux, Mint, Pop OS, stuff like that, okay? Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Devang, thank you for answering that. It's H.264 support. Yeah, if you get the paid version, you will be able to get H.264 support, okay? Yeah, that's right. So let me see. Yeah, so hopefully it's same tutorials. That's a long way of answering Davinci Resolve. That's my favorite video editor, free or paid, hands down. So Devang is asking, yeah, you dual boot as well. One thing I recommend is the long-term LTSC version of Windows 10. Cool. Yep. Okay. Yeah, 10-minute files. Yeah, 10-minute files can reach 17 gigs. Yeah. That's another thing, these especially 4K files, they take up so much space. And so that's another question that I get. What should I do with 4K files? Okay. My answer to that is use proxy files. Okay. If you don't know what proxy files are, you could go into my playlist, my Kdenlive, Davinci Resolve, and Shotcut. All of them have proxy features. Okay. So what a proxy feature in general is, let's say like you have a 4K video, right? You put that in your project timeline, man, it's going to slow down your computer because it's having to process 4K, and so you're in your project timeline, it's really going to slow things down. So what a proxy file does is it actually creates a smaller version of these files. So like instead of a 4K, it'll be 720p. So that will make it a lot easier for your computer to process that. Okay, so when you're editing, you're going to be editing on these smaller proxy files. However, whenever you go ahead and render the files, it'll render it on the original 4K files. It'll use the original 4K files, so you get the full resolution. So if you're not familiar with what that is, yeah, you could look through my videos. No problem in saying tutorials. Oh, it's Davinci Anthony. So it's Davanci and then Resolve, Resolve. Oh, wait, there's a chat feature. I'm sorry. I forgot there was a chat feature, since I really don't do this very often. Okay, so that's Davinci Resolve. Okay, so let me see. Let me show you like normally what my video projects look like. Okay, so let me go to my desktop with webcam. Hopefully this works. All right, hopefully you see that. Okay, so this is Shotcut, and this is Kdenlive. Let me close this real quick. I don't want to have too many things open. Okay. And so if you're brand new to my channel, you're probably seeing that I have a lot of videos. I have over 1,500 videos, and a lot of these videos are video editing tutorial. But if you actually look at my video edits, they're very simple. And I want to put this out here. I've been using video editors for years, but I am not a professional video editor. So the video editing I do is so simple. It's just simple cuts. I have effects and stuff and text every now and then. So I have very simple edits, and if you're wondering, man, this guy, he does very simple edits. Why is he teaching people how to do video editing? Well, the video editing I do is meant for people like me, so you basically don't know anything about video editing. You want to learn the basics and some things that you need to do to put your project together. And at least for me, for many years, I really focus on creating better content, okay? And maybe, as I keep getting better, I will improve my video editing skills, meaning that all these things that I'm learning, I put it together where videos just look a lot better, they have a better story to tell, and all of those things, so I'm still learning that, but I will say that my main focus on video editing is to create better content, okay? And so a lot of what I learned, it's for that. And as you can see, it's very simple video edits, but I'm pretty sure over time, it's gonna get more complex as I'm learning more about video editing, how to tell a compelling story, how to make it more film-like, but it just takes time. And so if you're wondering why is this guy teaching video editing and his edits are so simple, that's why I focus on the quality of my content, and over time these will get better. And of course, as I learn things, I want to share it with other people who are trying to learn video editing. So I'm looking at the wrong place. I should be looking here. And so yeah, as you can see here, this is Shotcut. It's one of the videos I made. And what I do like to do throughout all my videos, I don't have it here, but typically what I do, I have a template. So I created a video about this as well. Video editing template. So what a video editing template is it's basically I have all the files that I need for every video project. My end screens, audio, any type of marketing or things that I want to promote, I have it here. Okay. So that way it saves me a lot of time, and I use this for every video editor. Okay. So I have a folder with all my template stuff, and I use that same one for Kdenlive, for Shotcut, for OpenShot, and for Davinci Resolve. So as you're learning video editing, I think one of the most important things that you should have is some type of a template. It'll just make things a lot easier for you. So that is that's it. That is like my normal video editing setup. Very, very simple. Okay, but and it might be surprising to some people, but it won't be surprising to people who's been on my channel for a while. I don't really spend a lot of time editing. Okay, I just put it together to make sure I have really good content, good audio, and most importantly, I focus on the quality of my content. So hopefully me showing you some of how my video editing looks like, it's very simple and straightforward, but there are a lot of things that, I've learned, so I can make these really fancy if I wanted to. But the thing is, I don't want to spend like 5 hours video editing, at least not right now. Some people spend weeks editing a video, and you could see the quality on the screen. Okay, now for me, most of my video edits, honestly, they probably take like an hour, 30 minutes to an hour. I could finish and edit, but if I have more complex projects, of course, it's going to take longer. But most of my edits take 30 minutes to an hour. So let me go back to my camera. Okay, so I'm back here. All right, so let me see. Okay, right, it's good. Okay, awesome. Yeah, great time saver. Yeah, Davinci Resolve. Yeah. All right, so let me see. Please continue to ask questions if you had it. I'll answer them if I can. I'm gonna look through some of these comments as well to see if there's any other questions. And if you have like YouTube questions or miscellaneous questions, let me know as well. But one of the things that I want to know is, and I've asked this before for anybody who's on the chat, like, what do you use your video editor for? Do you use it for personal use, as a content creator, for professional use, or in some cases for school? Please let me know. Hey, Jizz Anime, thanks for joining. And Devang, what game is that in the background? This is Battletoads, the arcade game. If you're old enough to remember, I'm not sure how old you are, Devang, but this is a old classic arcade game. I love arcade games. I love emulators, and so this was one of my favorite games. And I played the original Nintendo, but the arcade game is so fun. It's like a beat 'em up, So so Jizz Adam is saying, I've always used Shotcut. It's simple for me. Davinci, when I tried it, it was just too different to learn something all over again. Yeah, definitely, Jizz Anime. Yeah, it is, for anybody who's never done video editing, the great thing about video editing is once you learn one, it does make things easier, but Davinci Resolve is complex. It is not easy by any means, but so is Adobe Premiere, and so is Apple Final Cut Pro. So any of these pro tools, the learning curve is normally way higher. And at the same time, there's so many things that they could do. It's, you're always going to be learning something. Okay, so Anthony says, I'd like to do long edited videos in the future. I like videos like Cryo Cynical's recent videos, if you heard of him. I think I have seen some of his videos, Anthony. If I'm not mistaken, I think he does Davinci Resolve videos. I can't remember. Okay, so Insane Tutorials is saying, Right now, I'm uploading a video. Last night, I spent a good amount of time watching videos. Just want to say thank you. No problem in saying tutorials. You know, that's the main reason why I make these tutorial videos. And I've said this before on other videos, but the reason why I make these tutorial videos is because whenever I started doing YouTube, just started learning stuff on the internet, I found other people who already did these videos who taught me how to do it, and I want to do the same thing here. So this is basically for people like myself, you know, somebody who's starting out, you know, who's never done this before, or maybe, you know, they might be scared to try. And so practically all my tutorials are meant for people like myself, you know, like you want to learn something, you know, here it is. And this is what I've learned, you know. And I'm constantly learning myself, so it's always a learning process, and this is really fun. I love doing this stuff. So Anthony says Pyrocynicals did an 8-hour video on show called Utopia. It was really good. Let me see who Pyrocynicals is, Anthony, because I think I know who you're talking about, but let me see real quick, see if I could find out his channel. Utopia, is that, what is Utopia? Is that a show or something? Okay. Okay, so this is not what I was thinking. Okay, I've not seen this channel. This is more like a comedy entertainment channel, it looks like. 8 hour stream. Wow. That's insane. I don't know how people do that. You know, so for anybody who does like streaming for a living, my hat's off to them. I've seen people do 8, 12 hours. Some people do 24-hour streams, which is probably not the healthiest thing to do, but wow, that's insane. I don't know. I don't know how they could do that, because even right now, for me, talking an hour, that's a lot. You know, normally if I do live streams, like 30 minutes or something. And yeah, I don't really do, it's just too much for me to do those type of streams. Let me see if I could find anything else. You know, some cool stuff in the background. I love video games. You know, if you watch my channels for a while, you know I love video games. And so let me see if I could find something interesting to put in the background as well. All right, so this is a classic for me. All right, so I love this game. So if you know what that is, then yeah. Okay, so another person joined, Old Man Fat Bike. Hey, thanks for joining, Old Man Fat Bike. I think I've seen you on the channel before, and I have seen Gears Anime before in chats. Thank you so much. Just asking a question about Shotcut. When viewing, sorry, I can read that. Okay, when viewing a video clip in the preview window prior to adding it to the timeline, how to adjust the beginning and end so you could drag it down to the timeline? Old Man Fat Bike, I did talk about that before on an older video. I can't remember which one. Let me see if I could show you here. And I can't remember. Okay, so let me click on this. All right. So let me show this to you, okay? So and you might have to zoom in on this later on if you're watching this video, but let me show you, okay? So I'm gonna head over to my desktop, back to my desktop with my webcam, okay? So here's Shotcut. So this is how you do it, Old Man Fat Bike. Whenever you double click on this, okay, it's gonna show your window up here, and what you do is this. See right here? There's like in and end points. So say, for example, you want to start it right here, right? You could move it like this. And there's also a shortcut. If I remember, I think it's I, and O is the out point. See? So O is out point, I is in point, okay? So that means you only want this part of the video. And let me add a track above it. Insert, I add a video track. I just drag it down here. Oh, crap. Drag it down here. See? So when I have it here, it's only that part. See? It's only that part of the video. So hopefully that helps you out. And Kdenlive has a similar feature, and obviously Davinci Resolve has it as well. So hopefully you can see that. Let me go back. All right. So did that help you, Old Fatman Bike? Right. Hopefully it did. but I think that's what you're asking, you know. So yeah, Devon saying 24 hours. Do they sleep on their streams? Yeah, I don't know how that works. My brother, he does long live streams like 5, 6, 7 hours, 8 hours. I don't know how. I honestly I don't know how. I don't even know how that's possible. 24-hour stream, I definitely do not think that's healthy, you know, especially if you're not sleeping. So Giz Anime is saying, yeah, a lot of Twitch streamers do 24-hour streams. I could do that when I was much younger, but not anymore. How? I don't know how that's possible. Well, people do it, obviously. So Anthony is asking not just an 8-hour stream, but an 8-hour full edited video. Oh, yeah. The editing has to be insane. An 8-hour, yeah. The editing has to be insane. You probably have to have a really powerful machine and a lot of time. It's probably going to take forever to render that out. My hat's off to them. So I think he said it took him years because his video kept getting blocked on YouTube. Yep. Devang's asking, what distro are you on? My favorite distro, Devang, is Linux Mint. Yeah, that's my favorite Linux distro of all time. Some other distros that I like using, Ubuntu. I like using Ubuntu. I do like using Pop OS as well. And previously I used Fedora. I can't remember the other name. I can't even remember right now, but I used another popular distro as well. It's Fedora and yeah, I can't remember. OpenSUSE. That's right, OpenSUSE or SUSE, however they pronounce it. So I used those a long time ago. So I started off with Red Hat actually a long time ago, and that didn't work out too well. And so, but I've been using Linux or GNU Linux, if you want to be specific. I've been using it for more than 10 years now, like probably like 13, 14 years or something like that. Okay. But that's when I first started, but I didn't really start using it regularly. Maybe about going on 8 to 9 years now. So I started off with, like I said, Red Hat, but really it was Ubuntu. I used that for many years. And then when Linux Mint came, then I started using Linux Mint. And then I tried many other distros. I really, like I said, Fedora, OpenSUSE. I tried so many distros though. I tried Arch, Manjaro, you know, many distros. But in the end, Linux Mint is my favorite because, you know, to coin a phrase from Apple, it just works. It just works. You know, but there's so many great distros out there. I mean, if you're brand new to the whole world of Linux, I do have an entire playlist for Linux. So just go to my channel. You can go there if you want. You know, it's older videos, but it still works. You know, so if you wanted to see how to move over from Windows to Mac, I mean, from Windows or Mac over to Linux, you could check out my playlist. Most of it's still valid today, okay? And obviously, if you want newer Linux content, there's many great Linux channels out there. Okay, so old man Fatback said, okay, so I guess you have to remember where the start point is. I guess there's no way to tab the point in. Well, old man Fatback, whenever you do that in and out point, it actually shows you. Okay, it's shortened the whole length of the actual video. So maybe when you watch this later, you know, you could go back and see what I did and just pause it so you could see it. So you know where your in and out points are on your actual preview. Okay, so hopefully that helps. So Insane Tutorials, it's okay if you're not big into this, but what do you use as your thumbnail creator editor? Oh, well, I'll show you Insane Tutorials. And I have talked about this in the past as well. But let me show you because, all right. So I'm gonna share my window again. Crap. Okay. All right. So let me move this because that's not okay. So what I use two things to make my thumbnails. Okay. And let me share this. Okay. Let me share this with you. All right. Okay. So the first thing that I use to do my thumbnails is GIMP. So if you're not familiar with GIMP is, it's a free and open source video editing software. So basically like Adobe Photoshop. I love using this program. So this is the first thing that I do. And once again, I have templates, you know, it's done in a template form. So I pretty much do the same thing, same type of text and font, you know. And then the other thing that I use is Canva. Canva is an awesome site. I really love using Canva. So if you want to make professional looking graphics and stuff, Canva is my favorite. hands down. That is my favorite one right there. Oh crap. Let me go back here. So yeah, but the majority of my thumbnails, I actually use GIMP, as you can see here. So hopefully that helps. And then the other place is Canva, as I just mentioned. So hopefully that answers your question on that. So yep, Anthony's asking, I'm thinking about live streaming, and it says I have to wait 24 hours for first time activation. Is that normal? I don't remember, Anthony. I don't remember what the rules are now. So Old Man Fatbike, thank you. You're very welcome, Old Man Fatbike. Yeah. Oh, hi Tom. Thanks for joining. I ran into the same 24-hour rule. Okay. So maybe because, you know, if you've never done live streaming before, that's probably why. I'm thinking that it gives you that, but I'm not entirely sure. So let me see. Okay. I'll put it in a different game. All right. Oh yeah. Maybe I'll put in this one. Yeah. Maybe that one. Okay. So Giz Adam is asking, how much is Canva? A Canva, Giz Adam, it's free. I mean, the free version, they give you a lot of stuff. Okay. But there's also paid versions as well. They give you additional features. But yeah, Canva is just, it's awesome. Okay. Yeah, I wish there was a, Anthony saying, yeah, I wish there was a proper countdown. The refresh page still says 24 hours. I guess I know by tomorrow. Yep. Yep. Yeah, and you know, live streaming is, you know, as with anything here on YouTube, it's a skill. There's so many things to learn on YouTube, you know, and I think that's something that a lot of people might not realize. You know, if you're going to be you're going to be a content creator and you're doing YouTube, there is a lot to learn. Okay, I mean a lot, you know. So if you've never done YouTube as a creator, a lot of people might assume that it's really easy and you know you're just making fun videos, but it's way more than that. Not just learning how to shoot a video or doing video editing. You have to learn stuff about graphic design. You have to learn stuff about marketing. Okay, you have to learn stuff about SEO. You have to learn stuff about business branding. You have to learn stuff about building communities with people. And then later on, as your channel keeps growing and stuff, you also have to learn things about, you know, how to deal with people. Okay, so if you've ever been a creator or you go to our channels, you know that there's a lot of challenges. Okay, so if you're not used to people criticizing you, you're not used to having haters and trolls, then you know you're going to be in for a rude awakening, because this is the internet. You know, you have like over 8 billion people in the world, and a lot of people are going to have their opinions, you know. And then other things that you learn, and this is something I don't talk too much about, but as you're going through this, you really have to learn how to be more mentally and emotionally prepared, you know, as much as possible. Because that's something that I don't think a lot of people talk about too often, because it's something that I would say is taboo. Okay, and that's the whole idea of mental health, you know, and emotional health whenever you're doing YouTube. Okay, and I think this is something that if you are an entrepreneur, you're entrepreneurial, it's very similar to that. Or maybe if you are in an entertainment business, because you're going to get a lot of people out there who are going to say a lot of things, you know, or do a lot of things that, you know, are really crazy, to be honest with you. And so YouTube is not easy. Being a content creator is not easy. Putting yourself out on the internet is not easy. Okay. But if this is something that you really do want to do and you're passionate about it, just realize that it's not easy. But I would say, you know, and this sounds cliche, it's worth it. It's definitely worth it, you know, because otherwise none of you would be here. None of this content would be here. All these skills I learned wouldn't be here. I would not be working on the internet. I wouldn't learn any of these things, okay, if it wasn't for you know, learning how to do YouTube. Okay, so I just want to put that out there. Yep, Anthony, is definitely not easy. So just Adam is saying Dizzy, Guilty Gear looks like a cool game. Yeah, Guilty Gear, man, this game is sweet. It is just so crazy. Yeah, Yeah, and who's the studio made this? Atlas, right? Yeah. So I have this. This is running on the Naomi board. So if you're very familiar with arcade games, the Naomi board is an arcade gaming board based upon the Dreamcast hardware. And this game, anybody knows the Guilty Gear series, probably the best looking fighting game series when it comes to hand drawn. Well, I don't think it's all hand drawn now, but hand drawn art, 2D style. It's my favorite. Better than Street Fighter. And I know some people might not agree with that, but Guilty Gear looks amazing. Okay, so I'm gonna have this stream running for about 10 more minutes. Okay, so I typically don't like to go over an hour because I actually my throat's starting to hurt. So 8 hour streams, nope, not for me. Let me see. I'm going through some more of these questions. And just as I'm doing this, if you are going to be doing live streams, like for the people who are planning to do this, it takes a while for it to process. And at the same time, like if you wanted to edit your live stream, like through the simple YouTube video editor, you can, splice some things out, which is what I'm going to do, like to make the live stream maybe a little bit more streamlined, okay? Because sometimes you on your live stream, since it's live, you might have a lot of moments of pauses and stuff like that, okay? And you probably don't want that in your video, okay? But it's really up to you, like for some people, and most of the times I don't edit anything on my live streams, but sometimes I do, okay? So in this case, I probably had a lot of pauses or maybe I repeated a lot of things. I might edit those things out. And as I stated, in a future video, I'm going to do an update of how to edit your videos using the YouTube video editor. But I do have the original video as well. Let me put that here on the chat if you're interested. But I am going to be doing an updated video on that, edit videos. Let me see. Oops. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, so if you had any more questions, I'm going to be on here for about another 10 minutes. Please ask them, and I'll be sure to answer them as best I can. Let me see. Edit videos without losing reuse. Let me see. All right. So I'm going to put this in the chat. Like I said, I'm going to do an update video on this. Edit videos using YouTube video editor. And as I stated a little bit earlier, the YouTube video editor is very basic, but it's the only way that you can edit, in this case, splice and cut your videos without losing views, without losing engagement, which is very important, okay? So if you were to edit your videos and then re-upload it, you lose all of that, okay? So using YouTube video editor. So I'm going to put it down here in case anybody's interested. And so this is what I'm going to use to actually edit this live stream. I'm going to edit some things out. YouTube video editor, okay? All right. Oh, crap. Okay, I put the wrong thing. Okay, so that's the link if you wanted to see that. Okay, so let me see. So Devang is asking any tips for new video editors? Well, Devang, I have like entire playlists for those, whether it's OpenShot, Kdenlive, Shotcut, Davinci Resolve. I would go there. About the only general tip, because these things are so complex and it depends on what you're using it for. I would highly recommend that you think about why you're video editing in the first place and what you want to do with your video editors. Okay, if you know that, it'll give you a better idea of which video editor might work for you and which ones you want to learn. Okay, so that's my answer to that. Okay, hopefully that helps. So Anthony says, I appreciate the advice you give me in chat. Thank you. No problem, Anthony. Hey, Keep It Techie, good morning. Thanks for joining. Okay, so Keep It Techie, he has a YouTube channel, by the way. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Keep It Techie, but we actually did talk a long time ago. He is a Linux lover, but also a person in technology, in IT security. Let me know if that's wrong, Keep It Techie. So I'm going to put his channel below. He's got some really great stuff. And Keep It Techie, he does do interviews with other creators and people in the IT field. So I'm going to put his channel down there. So I really love having other creators on here, especially those that, I can relate with. And so I'm going to put his channel down here. For anybody who wants to visit his channel, check out his content, support other creators, other geeky creators. Okay. So, hey, Practical Sequel. Hi, Happy New Year. Hi, thank you for joining. Okay, and from Pakistan, cool. So, Practical Sequel, I actually have been to Pakistan. I've been to Karachi. That was a long time ago. I haven't been to India yet. So, but I have been to Pakistan. So, but next time I go back to Pakistan, I'll be going to probably check out Islamabad, so it's north of Karachi. Oh, hi, Sotu Ganguly. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much for your tutorials. Lots of love. Awesome. Hi, Tom Black. Regarding live stream, I have interest in live streaming on web development. The work is open source, but is there any license issues I might run into when live streaming on YouTube or Switch or Twitch? I'm not sure, Tom. I mean, if I'm not sure what licensing issues you're talking about. If you're talking about maybe content that you're showing, maybe, yeah, for sure. If it's copyrighted material or trademarks. But if it's licensing issues concerning software, I don't know how to do Twitch. I've never done Twitch. So for YouTube, there is no licensing issues. I mean, in terms of the actual tool and software, because you're using YouTube's backend to do everything. Okay. So yeah, showing content. Yeah, Tom. Yeah, there could definitely be licensing, trademark, content issues. So I don't have a good answer for that because that's a very complex area. So Happy New Year's, Anthony. Yeah, awesome. Debangs asked, you probably missed it last time, so we posted, haha's Davinci animation software comparable to After Effects. I haven't really used much of Adobe After Effects, but Davinci Resolve animation is getting better, But like I said, I really don't use After Effects or very little of it, but there is an animation, portion definitely in Fusion in Davinci Resolve. Sure thing, Tom. So let me see if there's any other questions. So I'm gonna talk for another maybe 5-6 minutes. And I really do want to thank all of you for joining this chat. So who knows, I might do more of these. And as I stated earlier, I highly recommend that you, on my community tab, make sure that you have your notifications on, so that way whenever I'm doing these live streams, because that's probably the place where I'm going to announce it, because right now I don't really like doing scheduled live streams because I've tried that before. And if you've ever done live streams on YouTube, you know what I'm talking about. But it does take a lot of work to do these live streams. Okay, even though it just turns stuff on and stuff, it takes a lot of work because you actually have to take the time to do it, and you're like doing stuff on the fly. So most of the stuff, I don't have it scripted, right? And when you're in a live stream, even if you have to script it and plan, things are going to go off of that for sure. Okay. So, and whenever you're doing these live streams, I think it takes a lot out of you. Okay. I mean, if you're doing long live streams, you're going to get tired. You might get, well, you might fall asleep if you're doing 24-hour streams. So, thanks, Tom, for ringing the bell. So Practical Sequel is asking, what is your planning about 2022? Are you going to teach us some new courses, videos editing, or something else? Yeah, Practical Sequel, I really need all of your feedback on that. I did a video a few days ago talking about I need your help, and that's what I need help with. So if you had any stuff that you wanted to see, just leave that in the comments. But right now I'm gonna, I'm doing tech tutorials, most of which is video editing, YouTube tutorials, camera gear reviews, but OBS, Audacity. So all of these tutorials together, they're all focused on one main thing, and that is teaching you how to be creative. That's the whole point of my channel, because this is something that I've learned and something that's really helped me. Hopefully that answers that. So Anthony, that'd be awesome. YouTube recommended me to stream, probably because I watch. Thank you, Anthony. Yeah, I mean, YouTube, as much as people hate the algorithm, it does help your channel. It really does. But it's really hard to get up there, but they are trying, and they're continually improving it to show your content, mostly small YouTubers, give them more of a chance. Because before, if you were like a small YouTuber, nobody's going to see your content, it's very hard, but the algorithms definitely change, and it continues to change over the years. Okay. So is it possible to do motion graphics vector animation on Blender? As far as I know, Santu, yes, it is. But I'm not an expert in Blender at all, Santu. My knowledge is very, very basic. But maybe in the future, I would learn how to use Blender, because I would love to learn how to do CG, animation, like for movies and stuff in the future. Okay, so I'm gonna give it about another 5 minutes, and then I'll be I'll be closing off today's live stream. Let's see. Okay. So let me see if there's any other questions here. Let me get some water really quick. Some water. Yeah, and this is a very important thing. Always have your water in hand. So for everybody who's on the stream, how is the live streaming quality looking? Let me know. Let me know how the quality looks. Okay, so I think that is it for this live stream. I'm going to be signing off. I just want to, once again, I just want to thank all of you for joining this live stream and for actually coming on the chat, asking questions. I really, really do appreciate it. All right. Tom, looks great. There's an audio delay. Definitely, there is an audio delay. I'm not sure how I could fix that. There's almost always going to be some type of delay. Hey, My Sea Prince, thanks for joining. Yeah, I'm actually going to be signing off, My Sea Prince. Yep, awesome. Awesome, Anthony. Yeah, the delay is definitely going to be there, the audio delay. So, all right. All right, so Practical Sequel, this is the last question. He's asking, what is the thing that you spend most of your time on besides YouTube? Digital marketing. So if you're not familiar with what that is, I do have an entire playlist. And let me see, I do have a video as well that shows my life as a digital marketer. I love digital marketing. It's really awesome. So there's two things that I really enjoy, YouTube and digital marketing, okay? I'll put this on here. So for people who don't know what I do or what else I do, so I'm gonna leave this down here. Thanks, Devon. Thank you for everybody who joined today's live chat. Hopefully you got some value out of this. And I really do appreciate all your questions. So awesome stream. Thank you, y'all. And for anybody who's around the world, good night, good morning. Thank you so much. All right, My Sea Prince, later. I'm ending the stream now.